Missouri Senator Roy Blunt was reelected Wednesday as vice chair of the Republican conference. He is also a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator Blunt, good morning.
Morning, Chuck. How are you this morning?
Let me just ask you on the leadership front. You've been around this town a long time, and you were in the House when Republicans got a shellacking back there in 2006. Are you surprised there hasn't been, should leadership have taken on more water, if you will? Should there be fresher faces being brought in to respond to what was a messaging campaign that didn't work?
Well, I think most of our leadership is relatively new. I've been in the leadership a year. The other two jobs above me in the leadership have only held for a year, so I don't know that that would have the same impact as if people had been doing this for a long time, but I think a lot of what happened this cycle and last cycle was so unprecedented in the way that people were reacting to outside assistance and other things, and I'm not sure that that would have had a lot of political impact no matter what we did. But I do clearly think we need to communicate better, and we need to have a message that is clearly coming through that's an alternative message when we don't agree with the president. Just saying we don't agree isn't good enough, isn't going to be good enough, and shouldn't be, frankly, good enough.
Hey, Senator Blunt, I want to get to a bunch of stuff here. You're on the Intelligence Committee. Is General Petraeus testifying in front of you today or not?
He's not. I think we will see him sometime either today or tomorrow is my understanding.
You might see him today. You're still not sure.
I think it's scheduled for tomorrow, but I'm not absolutely sure. That was not locked down at the end of the day yesterday, and I think there has been a commitment we're going to see him sometime before the weekend, and I think we should. I think the questions to General Petraeus are, what was in your report? And frankly, another question is, why haven't we seen it? And I'm not sure he can answer that second question, but it's a growing concern to the Intelligence Committee and to me, which is, why isn't the administration sharing as quickly as they should the information they have? But frankly, Chuck, if you listen to the president, the White House doesn't have the information that the White House should have on some of these topics in a way that would be acceptable and expected.
Do you think Susan Rice, if she was getting the same intelligence briefings that frankly you guys were on Capitol Hill at that time that she went on that weekend after the days of after the Benghazi attacks, should she be held responsible for communicating what was the best intelligence that the CIA fighting at the time, and have that held against her if she is nominated to be Secretary of State?
Well, if she knew things that she was not telling, that's a big problem. But I think the president said yesterday that
but if she didn't
the information
know,
she had,
there's no evidence of that, is there?
Well, you asked the question, Chuck. I'm just answering the question you asked, which is if she knew things she didn't tell, is that a problem? Yeah, it would be a problem, but the president said yesterday that she said everything she knew. That's really the big question. Why is it that 5 days after this, that's the only thing that the White House says they knew, and the only thing they say they told the person they put out on 5 different news programs? I think it's a lot bigger problem, frankly, than what Susan Rice said. It's why she was told that that was what was going on. I think by 5 days after September the 11th, most people in the intelligence community had reached another conclusion. If you'll believe the president, apparently they didn't tell him that, but I think that information was out there and should have been information that both the president, the Secretary of State, the ambassador to the UN, if they're going to send her out to talk about this, should have had.
Well, it seems as if, though, that the report she got was authored by Mike Morrell, the now acting director of the CIA. So is your beef then with the CIA and not with Susan Rice?
If that's the information she got, I think the question is, who did she get it from? Was it changed from the time it was originally drafted until either Mike Morrell got it or he gave it to somebody else? I think there are a lot of questions here, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. I think that's a clearly important topic for the Intelligence Committee to look at. My belief is that our chairman, Dianne Feinstein, is as eager to get to the bottom of this as any Republican on that committee, and we will.
Senator Blunt, I want to get your reaction to what Mitt Romney was over donor conference call saying yesterday as to why he lost. Do you agree with his assessment that he lost because of gifts?
Because of what?
gifts, if you will, to certain constituency groups?
I didn't hear the comment and don't know the context of it. I think we lost because the president turned out more voters in the battleground states than anybody thought he was possibly going to be able to turn out. And the mechanics of politics matter as well as the message of politics. And frankly, we were not as good in those 9 states in June and July in setting the stage or on election day in turning out voters as we needed to be to get this done. You know, I was of the belief, Chuck, and that we wouldn't see the 2008 turnout model in a way that had elected the president. And in fact, in those 9 states, they beat the 2008 turnout model. I think I was right in the other 41 states or so, but in the 9 where they really put themselves to the task, they did an extraordinary job.
Senator Roy Blunt, Republican from Missouri. Senator, thanks for coming on this morning.
You bet.